Since the assassination of South African Communist Party leader Chris Hani. Hani was shot dead by Polish anti-communist immigrant Janusz Walus outside his home in Boksburg on this day in 1993. Walus was shortly arrested after Hani's neighbor called the police. A senior South African Conservative Party Member of Parliament, Clive Derby-Lewis, who had lent Walus his pistol, was also later arrested for the murder. They are both serving life sentences. Now, what we're showing you here is a picture with Chris Hani over here, the late Chris Hani, and then there's, of course, incumbent President Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma, and then over there, the former Minister of Defense, Minister Joe Modise, the late Joe Modise as well. So just going into the archives, bringing you some of those memories and some of the visuals that tell some of South Africa's story. We're now joined by Jeremy Cronin, who is friend of Chris Hani and Deputy General Secretary of the South African Communist Party. Jeremy, good morning to you. Welcome to Morning Live on SABC2.
Good morning, Voyo. Thank you very much.
Now, as a friend and as a comrade, what kind of person was Chris Hani?
He was a wonderful person. I think that everybody who came in touch with him really felt that he was a very rounded human being. He was well known, of course, for being a soldier and was much admired in the ANC and I think generally amongst black South Africans for his heroic role in the armed struggle over many, many years. He was also very, very brave. But at the same time, he wasn't, a narrow soldier or narrow hawk, as he was sometimes portrayed at the time in the apartheid media. He was very compassionate. One MK colleague who worked with him in camps in Angola said that Chris was a leader when you needed a leader. He was a father and a brother when you needed a father or a brother. And he was even a mother when you needed a mother. And I think that captures beautifully the kind of all-roundedness and compassionate nature of Comrade Chris.
Yeah, 20 years on, his legacy, his contribution, is that adequately recognized? Do we feel his presence in our society today?
I think many South Africans do, but it's important to keep remembering that huge legacy and huge contribution that he made. Let's remember that 20 years ago, it was an Easter Saturday, April the 10th, 1993. At that time, the multi-party negotiations were stalled. The apartheid regime at the time was simply still not prepared to concede non-racial elections, which would result, obviously, in majority rule in our country. And it was in that context that Chris Hani was assassinated. Those who assassinated him later in the TRC process said that they were trying to provoke a civil war, a racialized civil war, and therefore to end the negotiations process. And given Chris's huge popularity, the opinion polls at the time suggested that he was easily the second most popular politician in South Africa after Nelson Mandela. And there was a massive outflowing of anger in townships and squatter camps, communities and so on throughout South Africa. And I think it was only the leadership of Mandela and of the ANC and of the Broad Alliance that said to South Africans, you're angry, you're right to be angry, but don't play into the game of those who assassinated Comrade Chris. Let's make sure that we really now drive the negotiations process to its conclusion. And within 2 weeks, a matter of 2 weeks, the date for elections in 1994 was set, which is why the end of April 1994 became the democratic breakthrough. And that was in many ways Comrade Chris's contribution, tragic contribution, but contribution.
There's also the ongoing applications. The Clive Derby-Lewis, we're told he's not well. The application for parole on his part, medical parole. As the South African Communist Party, do you oppose the application for parole? What is your position? What is your view?
Yes, look, I think we should make the 20th anniversary commemoration of Comrade Chris about Comrade Chris and not about those who killed him. But we certainly, as the Communist Party, have opposed their applications for amnesty. Let's remember that they were sentenced to death, these two assassins, in 1993. And it was only an incoming ANC government and the abolition of the death penalty that resulted in their now serving life sentences. But quite frankly, in the course of their TRC amnesty application, they didn't tell the truth. I think you quoted earlier Dimpo Hani saying that she was still that we've not heard the full truth around the assassination. I think she's absolutely right. And so we've certainly opposed any amnesty for them. But I think let's not focus on the assassins. Let's focus on the memory of Chris and the wonderful contribution he made to the South Africa we're living in.
So the South African Communist Party, how is it marking this 20th anniversary? What kind of events have been scheduled for this occasion?
Well, every year we've been having events. There will be an event at the gravesite on the East Rand today. But throughout South Africa also there are a variety of commemorative events which we'll be celebrating with and marking together with our alliance partners. But also, Chris would have said, don't just remember me, take forward, pick up my spear, my fallen spear, carry forward. And in particular, what we're wanting to do this year as the South African Communist Party is to revitalize our campaign around the financial sector. Millions of ordinary South Africans are really suffering under unsustainable loans, credit bureaus and so forth, and that's a campaign in the name of Comrade Chris that we want to take up and revitalise.
All right. Jeremy, thank you very much for joining us here on Morning Live this morning. Jeremy Cronin is Deputy Secretary General of the South African Communist Party. Zwelinzima Vavi on Twitter says, long live the undying spirit of Chris Hani. Don't let him die. Keep his ideals alive. Quite a few people commenting on the life and times of Chris Hani. We'll share with you all of those thoughts as Morning Live.